That's the actual reason that we call the podcast The Fuzzy Mike.
Really?
Because it's got this fuzzy Don King hair looking sort of thing on it.
Looks kind of like our hair.
No, your hair looks much...
That's my dream beard.
Little
right there.
silver fox.
That's the dream beard, huh, Curtis?
Yeah.
If you do a sideways faux hawk on this thing, it's my exact haircut.
Yeah, it's pretty close without the product.
Without the product, but I know you guys were in Walgreens earlier today
You
looking
saw
for
that.
hair care
Yeah.
product.
Oh yeah.
Who's the biggest diva amongst the two of you?
In what, hair care?
Anything. Hair care, I got an idea who that's going to be, Brad.
I mean, I ordered mine on Amazon, get a decent discount.
You order your hair gel on Amazon?
I do.
I do as well. I actually just bought a new product today on Amazon. I can even show you my order history to prove
I
it.
wouldn't do that. Don't give up.
My
Don't
order
give up.
history to prove it. Joining me on the Fuzzy Mike, the country of Canada has had a lot of great exports come to America, most notably Rush, the Tragically Hip, Jim Carrey in the way of
Huge
comedy.
fan.
We're huge fans of Jim Carrey. We actually have a picture on Instagram of my hair.
Ace Ventura.
Yes.
Yeah, you've
Yeah.
also, Brad, been known to look like Ivan Drago, Dolph Lundgren.
Yes.
Yeah, and we'd never seen that movie. We grew up without TV, so we never seen any of the people keep saying, you look like the guy in this movie, and haven't seen it, and you look like the guy with Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice.
I said
Ice,
I've
Ice
heard
Baby.
of Ice, definitely
You
heard
just
of
have
Ice.
Such a generic face.
No, I think it's the swirl of the hair is what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, it's the way you guys comb the hair. Also, exports from Canada that we're big prone fans of down here, and that is maple syrup and
Oh, yeah.
and lumberjacking.
Lumberjacking, yes.
So, you know what? One thing that Americans always ask us is Canadian bacon.
Uh-huh.
And they ask us about Canadian bacon, and the truth is we'd never heard of Canadian bacon until coming to the U.S.
Really?
So we went to Pizza Hut and ordered pepperoni and bacon, and the waitress said, would you like Canadian bacon? And we're like, oh, what's that? And she explained it. We're like, oh, you mean ham? No, we would like bacon.
We're talking about Canada because my guests on the Fuzzy Mike today are Brad and Curtis. High Valley, the next great export out of Canada. Guys, you guys have an awesome sound.
Thank
you very much.
And you guys are not new to the music industry at all. 15 or so years together. I mean, you've been together for your entire lives because you're brothers.
Yeah,
That is correct.
Our family recorded our first record when I was 4 years old, which would make Curtis.
I was -2 at the time.
So we recorded in like our church, you know, and I had a great song as a 4-year-old called Self-Control. The opening line was, once I had a knot in my shoe and it would not come loose. So fairly captivating lyrics.
Will that eventually make its way to a High Valley song?
That would be great.
I hope not, but
Lyrics like that they grab your attention immediately.
Don't they, though?
Oh yeah, you're
man.
hooked.
Okay, so you guys have probably retold this story countless times, but for fans in America who are just learning about High Valley,
Yeah.
An interesting story with the family having been in Mexico.
Yeah, our mom and dad were both born and raised in Cuauhtémoc, which is in Chihuahua, Mexico, and they were horse and buggy, no electricity Mennonites, very much like the Amish. We always say that, you know, Mennonites are like Amish who are too cheap to buy the costume. So that's kind of how they were raised, and
We just get whatever costumes on sale.
yeah, exactly. So they decided, our grandpa got a vehicle, and that, of course, wasn't allowed in the Mennonite colony world. So they moved, and they rode this massive box truck with grandpa and grandma and their 10 kids and another family. There was 20 kids and 4 adults on this truck, and they rode all the way from Mexico up to Canada. And
Sleeping in the ditches and stuff like that. It's crazy.
yeah, pretty nuts. But we grew up way up north. I don't know why on earth they moved so far north, but we're just east of Juneau, Alaska.
Yeah, anytime you can leave the harsh conditions of Mexico and go to the temperate climate of La Crête, Alberta, you're doing something.
They must not have had any breakfast burritos while they were driving through Texas.
Yeah, if they had the Tex-Mex down here, they would have stuck around, guaranteed. Or the brisket. That's kind of our favorite thing down
Now,
here.
let me ask you about this because you've been in Texas a couple of days, but you had brisket in Kansas City, which there's a healthy rivalry of barbecue between Texas and Kansas City, Missouri.
I don't want to lose any fans in Texas, so I'm just
Nor
gonna
Missouri, because this is on a podcast, so they're all
Okay,
going to hear
shoot.
it.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I'll tell you what. We have not had barbecue on this trip in Texas yet. Now, by the end of the day, I hope that changes. But I will say, Kansas City barbecue was quite great. We've been at a barbecue joint outside of Fredericksburg, Texas, between Fredericksburg and Kerrville, named Cranky Frank's.
Cranky Franks,
Okay.
yeah.
That's amazing. They always have the Fritos with the brisket sandwiches. And it's amazing if you're ever in Fredericksburg. We spend a lot of time out in the hill country, out in Texas.
It's great, isn't it?
And we love it out
beautiful.
there. We've had some great barbecue. We've had some amazing Tex-Mex. Our favorite are the little kind of dives that open early in the morning where you can go for breakfast burritos. That's my favorite.
Now, when you were growing up in LaCrette, which is a 14-hour drive from Calgary, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I could do it in probably 11 hours if you don't stop.
Okay, but it is a long drive
Yeah,
Yeah.
north of Calgary.
definitely.
There's roughly 3,600 people in the whole city, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, basically we're, like, I know everybody in every country band says they're from a small town somewhere. We legitimately were 300 miles from the nearest Walmart, nearest McDonald's, nearest movie theater,
Oh,
nearest
so Curtis,
mall.
you're very familiar with ordering off of Amazon then.
Yeah.
You had to get supplies.
Yeah, well, when we moved to Nashville, I was like, Amazon Prime, what is this?
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
pretty
changed our lives.
No word of a lie. If you, right now, let's say you want to send my parents something in our hometown, you go FedEx overnight, right, or UPS overnight, next day delivery, guaranteed, confirmed. Pay $100, put it in an envelope. It will go to Edmonton. It will definitely not get to our town overnight. The next day it'll go on a truck, and they'll drive 500 miles. They will drop it at the gas station in LaCrete, and they will not bring it to your door, even if you pay for that. And you will then just have to stop by the gas station, say, hey,
Every couple days, you check in to see if they have a package for you.
and then they go back and check it out, and they're like, yep, there's a box here for
Sometimes your packages end up in Peace River, which is 3 hours away, and then you just have to figure out some way to get it to your town.
you. So we never ordered hair product online growing
No,
up.
of course not. You wouldn't have it to this day.
Exactly, yeah.
This is the Fuzzy Mike. Brad and Curtis, High Valley, are joining me today, and we get back to LaCrete, the population there. You guys have like 58 people in your family. Why didn't they just call it Rempelville?
You know what? Our family is one of the smallest. It's a Mennonite
Seriously?
town. It's 99.9% of our town's population is Mennonite. A lot of people have 10 kids.
There are several women who have given birth to more than 20 kids in our town.
So when our mom only had 6 kids, we were considered.
Slacker.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what'd she do with her time?
Yeah, what did she do? So this is interesting to me. Okay, so you grew up in a Mennonite family.
Yeah.
Mennonites do not tend to go towards the electricity.
Yeah.
So radio and TV, not friendly to the family. Now you're making your living off of radio and electricity with music.
And videos on CMT and
And
all
the
that.
internet.
And how's the family reacting to this?
Our family's ultra supportive. Our music's always been about family. It's been real family friendly, real positive. We love, like today, visiting you guys here at the station, seeing this mom and dad bringing their 2 kids to the show. That's our absolute favorite. If we could be famous for one thing, it would be that we would be the country band that made families want to go. You don't drop your kids off at a babysitter. You don't get your mom and dad to drop you off at the show. You go together as a family.
So what is the sound of High Valley? I've heard it. I've heard it live. I've heard it on YouTube. How do you classify it? Because I have my own way, but I want to hear how you guys classify High Valley.
I mean, I'd say the best way to summarize it is imagine dudes who grew up with a lot of acoustic music and harmony and very little influence from any popular music at all, because literally we didn't have it.
Well, you said it was until 2007 you guys had not seen TV or movies.
Well, no, we'd seen some TV and movies, but we never heard of Michael Jackson. We didn't know any. For Christmas this year, our attorney bought us the 20 most famous albums that we've never heard. And
What were they? What were
there's
some of
Michael Jackson, Elton
Beatles,
John, Chicago. We don't know how. I mean,
Yeah, it's hard to remember the 20 names because they're names we hadn't heard of.
basically, people always make fun of us, like, you've never heard Led Zeppelin or Aerosmith, or
even TV shows, like stuff we grew up with one. Well, at first we had no TV, and then finally when we got a TV, we had one channel, and
it was like the news.
yeah. So we
Yeah.
were just not exposed.
So then what was culture shock like when you went to Nashville?
Man, I remember 2007 I got a little publishing deal as a songwriter in Nashville, and
Because of that not lyric.
yeah, exactly.
That's a heady lyric, bro.
Yeah.
The first song I ever wrote was actually called "Once I Had a
Ants in my pants.
Ants in My Pants for $20." I apparently was fascinated with having ants in my pants, but I also wanted to make some money off of the ants.
Makes sense to me.
So
Yeah.
ants in my pants for $20. So I'm there at this publishing deal, and I played my favorite song. We all had to play our favorite song and tell people why. And I played a Diamond Rio song because later on in life, our sisters taught us about Diamond Rio and Alabama and all the vocal groups. And the next person played Billie Jean, and everybody's oohing and on about what an iconic, life-changing song it is. And I'm like, looked like a freak when I raised my hand and said, "Excuse me, who is that girl?" And that's when I found out that it was, in fact, a guy, and that Michael Jackson's ultra famous. And now, of course, we know better, but that was 2007. We were just kind of, starting to get up to speed.
So in a nutshell, our music is kind of old school and new school with about 2 decades in between missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our sound.
But would you call it contemporary? Would you call it Christian? Would you call it bluegrass? Would you call it country?
I'd definitely call it country. I think if you listen to a High Valley record, it'll sound incredibly country. No offense, but compared to a lot of other things, it'll sound very country. We love all the stuff. We love Imagine Dragons. We love the Lumineers. We love Dierks Bentley and Miranda Lambert, and we also love Ricky Skaggs. So the main thing it is it's authentic to us. And I'm not going to lie, we did spend a few years trying to chase country radio and make the sounds that other people were making. And it didn't honestly work out very well for us. And finally we said, you know what, let's just do what we did since we were little kids and make that kind of music.
I'm not sure if you know who this artist is, but he's in Nashville. He's Jared Neiman. He's
Yeah, of course.
Prolific songwriter.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorites, and he said, Brad, exactly what you just said. You don't write songs to chase radio. You write songs that you yourself would like to hear, and if you're passionate about it, they will be found.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I love about you guys is that it is a passionate feel and vibe when you listen to you guys play.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no, but I want to find out what you guys think about this quote. It says that this duo could easily turn hard down a soulful, organic road Chris Stapleton's CMA success cleared in November. That is a quote attributed to what somebody thinks you guys could become this year.
Wow. I mean, Chris Stapleton is absolutely amazing, so that's obviously very flattering. We love acoustic music. I mean, our live shows, we definitely crank it up and have a full 6-piece band, but our favorite is when people come on the bus to hear us on the bus and there's no electricity and it's literally just us showing them what we've got in a real small space.
Well, and that's what you guys did today downstairs it was basically a conference room, but you guys filled the room. It was a big sound.
Well, you have to remember growing up, all we had was a bass guitar that our dad had and a 12-string acoustic that our mom had. And obviously a bunch of kids, right? You're bored out of your mind if you don't do music. So, I mean, we made a lot of music, and you had to try and fill it with that amount of instruments. And even to this day, Christmas Day at our house, Mom and Dad have a lot of grandkids now because our sisters have so many kids. And there's 36 of us there on Christmas. And
so they picked up where Mom left off.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
But every grandkid, to get their present for Christmas from Mom and Dad has to either sing a song or recite a Bible verse. So there's a lot of the next generation of Rempels making a lot of music as well.
Brad and Curtis are my guests on the Fuzzy Mic. We're talking to High Valley today. 16 acts to watch in 2016 on CMT. You guys were mentioned in there along with Granger Smith and Maren Morris, Brandy Clark. Also, number 8 on the Hot Artist to Watch in 2016. I jumped the gun a little bit. I wanted you to retell the story about Ricky Skaggs. Because your parents are a big part of this story. But then after you tell that, I want to ask you what your parents think of this success that you guys are having.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky Skaggs was one person who we had heard of growing up. It was a small amount of artists, pretty much bluegrass gospel and country gospel stuff. And he had some gospel records out. And our parents loved him. They drove all the way down to Nashville for their honeymoon. And that's a 45-hour drive. So
45 hours.
Yeah, 45 hours of drive time. So our parents love the Grand Ole Opry, and now just a couple months ago, Curtis and I got to play the Grand Ole Opry together with Ricky Skaggs, played Make You Mine, our brand new single. It was the coolest moment of our lives, just unbelievable.
We have video of us rehearsing Make You Mine backstage at the Opry with Ricky Skaggs in our dressing room. It was pretty sweet.
Were your parents there?
Our parents got to see us the first time we played the Opry, a little earlier than that, and they're so supportive and proud and thankful for it all. Our dad was our first record label executive. Back in the day, he took out a mortgage against the farmland in 2001, brought us down to Nashville. That was, 15 years ago. And it's just, they've been so supportive. It's been amazing.
Has it been very difficult to break into American mainstream? Because you guys have had 2 Juno Awards in Canada, which is the equivalent to our Grammys. I mean, you guys are massive in your home country. What is it going to take for you to reach that level here in America?
All I know for sure is that we're doing what we love to do right now. It feels real, and for whatever reason, a few weeks ago, a bunch of record labels in Nashville all of a sudden got excited about it. I think it had something to do with our video and the amount of hits it was getting on YouTube and iTunes and stuff like that. And anyway, the record labels started calling, which hadn't happened before, and we signed with Warner Brothers, which we're thrilled about. Signed together with Atlantic Records in New York City, and we got to go to New York City, a bunch of farm boys just looking super out of place. And
now I want to ask you about that because, Brad, you're holding the camera, you're holding the phone, and you're walking in Times Square, and Curtis has gloves on, and he says, "Oh, man, it's cold here." You guys grew up in a place where minus 58 Fahrenheit is not uncommon.
Yeah, it's true, and here's the truth. Being cold sucks, and when you live in the north, you have warm clothes available all the time. You got coat hangers in the entrance of every house, and your coat is hanging there ready so you can go outside. And up north, you don't spend time outside when it's cold. You get in your car, you drive to the next building, and then you get in the building. And you have the right clothing, and it doesn't matter. Being cold is just not ideal.
But up near Juneau, 11-hour drive north of Calgary, it's a dry cold. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't go right through your bones like a moist cold does.
No, it does.
No, it does.
Yeah, you can hardly breathe. It'll your nostrils, everything starts freezing. It's crazy. People actually die in our area from their vehicles breaking down and trying to walk to the next house.
When I got married, it was 30 below. And we did our wedding photos outside, and my wife is wearing a wedding dress without sleeves, and she's freezing her butt off out there during the photos, and she looked fantastic. But
worth it.
Her knuckles were cracking and bleeding while we were taking pictures.
Women are infinitely tougher than men. That's why they have babies.
Amen to that.
That's why we don't.
Amen, yeah.
We're talking to High Valley. I want to congratulate and commend you guys on that video that was on your Facebook page. You guys went and visited, I think, a pediatric cancer patient in Baton Rouge, and you played solo for her in her hospital room.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Oh, man, it was amazing for us.
What does it feel like to be able to do that for somebody who...
She was going through a tough time. We heard about her through the local station, and we went in, and, it was already a special moment, and we were getting energy from her, and she was getting energy from us, and it was a good moment. But I said, man, would you mind if we shared this so that all our fans could talk to you and comment? So now
you were live.
Yeah,
live Facebooking.
Yeah. So we went live on Facebook, which we do quite often, and thankfully, so many of our fans. If we had horrible fans, we wouldn't have done this. But we know our fans. We know how awesome they are, and we just said, hey guys, give Maddie a little bit of encouragement. And I don't know. I think 40,000 people tuned in and started just making her. We heard from her mom and dad and her grandparents and her aunts and uncles, and everybody's commenting on there, and the whole world was just taking care of this girl. It was really special for us to be, honestly, a really small part of that.
Yeah, it was amazing to watch, and a pediatric cancer patient's spirit is unbreakable.
Yeah.
And you guys probably saw that firsthand.
It was unbelievable. It was we're spoiled. We still feel guilty. We grew up on a farm, so we feel guilty that we get to hang on this fancy bus every day and go make music for a living. So anytime we can do anything that helps somebody out makes us really happy and feel like our job is useful.
It beats working for a living, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Okay, talking to High Valley, just a few more things. Puppy Monkey Baby, you guys hashtag that.
Oh, I love that commercial.
Was that the greatest?
It was hilarious.
We're still talking about it to this day.
Yeah.
Any idea what the product they were pushing?
Oh shoot.
Doesn't matter.
Mountain Dew Kickstarter.
Mountain Dew Kickstart.
Nailed it.
Take the 3 best things in life, which was caffeine, Mountain Dew, and something else.
Fruit juice, I think.
Yeah,
something
sure.
like that. Yeah.
I never knew those were the 3 best things in life.
Well, now you know.
In Canada, you guys have opened for Reba McEntire. Best piece of advice she gave you?
Reba was just at a festival. I think the best tour we've done in Canada is Little Big Town, honestly. We did Little Big Town and Alan Jackson both in the same year. And Shania Twain was really cool. We did a couple dates opening for Shania a couple years ago when she had only 2 shows for the entire year. And we go out and there's 15,000 people, huge arena, and they let us know right before we walk on stage. They said, hey, there's no MC, nobody's introducing you. It's just walk out there and start. And I'm like, man, that sucks. So I said, can you turn the lights off? And they made the entire arena pitch black. And we walked out and put on our guitars. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join me in singing High Valley's first song. And they turned the lights on. We started. We had a 15,000 person standing ovation before our first song.
That's awesome.
Worked out good.
Working the system.
That's working great. Brad Paisley, you opened for him. Did he prank you?
Yeah. He did not. He did not prank us, but he is obviously notorious for that. I mean, everybody's been so good to us. I mean, Little Big Town was the nicest people in the world. When you open for somebody, they don't really need to take care of you with catering and all the backstage stuff. They can basically say, you're lucky to have a chance to sing here, right? But with Little Big Town, they were getting us breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and after we'd get on the bus, and they would have provided us with food there too.
They're genuine.
They were
awesome,
they're amazing.
The worst thing about Little Big Town is how perfect their harmonies are.
Yeah.
You guys are right there.
Oh man.
Your harmonies are incredible.
You know what? We're not looking for that compliment. They're so good. They're so good, and a lot of times you open for people and you're like, cool show. Little Big Town, you open for them and you say, amazing show. I want to watch it every single night, no matter how many shows we get to open.
I want to watch him just because of Kimberly. I have a huge crush on her, and she knows it too.
There
she
you
didn't
go.
ask about me, did she?
Awkward.
Yeah, she did. She was asking about you.
When you guys played with Keith Urban, there was a language barrier. Were you able to understand each other?
The first time I met Keith Urban was, we were both there at a Ricky Skaggs CD release at Tower Records in Nashville.
Yeah.
We were there recording a record. This was, I don't know, 05 or 2003. I have no idea.
I think I was 11.
Okay, so it was a while ago.
2001.
2001, we're there. Keith Urban's just got his brand new I Want to Be Your Everything, I think, his debut, because he was in a band called The Ranch, which I loved growing up.
Wow.
So now
You're a fan.
He's got his debut song out, and he's there with his mom, and we're there with our mom and dad, and there's literally 20 or 30 people there for this little Ricky Skaggs autograph signing, and Keith Urban's a huge Ricky Skaggs fan. So we got to hang out. My mom and I were talking to Keith and his mom for quite a while, and of course a year goes by and he's a massive superstar, but it was pretty cool to know that we got to have some hang time, and I was a huge fan of Keith Urban before he was called Keith Urban.
Oh, yeah. No, with The Ranch, that goes back a long way.
We didn't have TV,
Awesome
but
band.
our town had a youth drop-in center with cable TV, so we lived 20 miles out of town on the farm, but my buddies would call me when The Ranch was on TV on CMT, and they'd say, hey, The Ranch is on, and they'd put the phone up to the TV so I could hear it.
How awesome to have friends like that.
Yeah.
That's super cool. All right, now accents leads me to the final thing that I'd like to do with you guys anyway, and that is I love the thing you do on Facebook, Faceoff Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I would like for you guys to do an episode of Faceoff Friday on the Fuzzy Mike podcast.
All right.
And I'm going to give you the category, accents.
Okay.
Which one?
You would ask Curtis to do an accent, and then
Okay.
Curtis, you would ask Brad to do an accent. Is that the way that it works on Faceoff?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Curtis asked me first, and I'll try it, and then we'll go.
British.
It's bloody cold out here in Lacrete, but High Valley sure sounds amazing and is warming my soul.
And now people would go on your Facebook page and vote to see who did the better accent, right?
Okay.
Yeah, or
Okay,
on our
so-
fan club. We have an app, High Valley Official, in the App Store, so they go on there and do that too.
All right, so Brad, your turn to ask Curtis to do.
Curtis,
accent.
I would want you to do a Mongolian accent.
Oh, shoot. There's this thing called Mongolian throat singing that I don't know how to do, but there's the one part that sounds kind of like... That's all I got.
It's pretty good.
If I'm voting, Brad, no offense, Curtis, you get it, man.
Oh, thanks,
What?
man. Yeah,
That
nailed
was
it.
I was trying to set him up
amazing.
for failure.
No,
Man.
but anytime you can go to Mongolian throat singing, impromptu like that,
Yeah.
that's winner.
We have heard that impromptu Mongolian throat singing is usually a good idea. So
Final question, guys. High Valley 2016. What's a great year for you guys? What happens?
Well, we're going to London, England to open for Carrie Underwood at the O2 Arena in a few weeks. And right now, it's like the whole year ends after that. We got to figure out how to beat that. So,
Are there tours being talked about for you guys?
Tons of tours, yeah. We're doing a lot of our own headlining dates up north, and then a lot of opening for folks down here at festivals. And man, we're really booked up right now, just going all over the place. But I think that gig in London, England's gonna take the cake.
And we would love to see "Make You Mine" on the chart. That would make 2016 pretty fantastic.
Yes.
Well, I've heard the song. I know the song. I think it's going to happen, guys. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished north of the border, and congratulations about what you're going to accomplish south of the border here in the United States.
Thank you very much.